political analysts. We have Brian Sobel over here and Joe Garofoli that are joining us right now. Let me get your early take on what has happened so far. So Indiana, Kentucky, we know those are red, no surprise there. Vermont, blue for Hillary Clinton. But what do you think the next most important state that we're going to get some data from tonight is going to be?
Well,
I go New Hampshire is what we're looking for, not only for the presidential race, but for the Senate race. The balance of the Senate is in question tonight. It's looking like it could be a 50-50 split. But if New Hampshire goes in the Democratic column, then that's good news for the Democrats.
You know, so many people say that New Hampshire really isn't that important because it's only 4 electoral votes. But keep in mind that if Gore had won New Hampshire back in 2000, he would have won the race. So that was really a linchpin back then. What do you think about Florida, most importantly?
Well, you know, incredibly important. And as you pointed out, I don't think Donald Trump has a pathway to victory without Florida. And to your earlier question, I think we're going to know things very, very quickly tonight. When the polls close at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock our time, I think we're going to know a whole lot more about this race.
Okay, let's talk about North Carolina. Which way do you think it's swinging right now? It's statistically a tie right now when you look at the average of the polls. Any late-breaking information, Joe, that gives you any idea?
What the turnout is, especially for the African-American community, that is the key to North Carolina.
Okay, and what do you think?
Same. I think we don't know yet, but if Donald Trump can pull it out, maybe we have a race on our hands.
So the emerging theme today is really all about the Latino vote. We know there has been a dramatic increase in Florida. Broward County has seen historic numbers.
Turnout.
Miami-Dade has seen historic numbers as well. But we do know that the northern part of the state is predominantly Republican, and those are the last of the votes that are counted.
Right.
So tonight we're waiting to see if Hillary Clinton comes out in the southern part of the state with a dramatic lead that could account for any possibility of Donald Trump in the Panhandle area. What do you think? Do you think the Latino vote this time around is going to make all the difference for her?
I think the early indicators are that we will see historic turnout by the Latino community. That may be the page turner for Hillary Clinton in Florida.
But is it going to be enough, Joe?
Well, and if it is, it would be poetic justice, because that's what activists were telling me earlier today, because of all the incendiary remarks that Donald Trump has made about Latinos from the first day of his campaign, calling them rapists, criminals, and such.
Right.
So if they prove to be the swing in this, that would be a poetic justice, many say.
Okay, let me jump ahead really quickly to Michigan, because this is such a shocker. Hillary Clinton, as we were talking about earlier, 6 points ahead in the average of all the polls. Now Donald Trump has internal polling showing that it might be up for grabs. This would be breaking with tradition. They've gone Democratic since 1992. Is this even possible? What do you think, Joe?
I'm always dubious about the term internal polls, because they'll showing you the internal polls because they look good, and they're also just trying to keep the vote coming out. So the polls are still open there. They want to keep people going. So they're saying, hey, it's going to be okay. You know, look, we're going to win this thing.
And what about you?
Well, I think the numbers have been a little squishy in Michigan, frankly, which has given rise to the idea that it may be a state in play. We don't know, and I agree with Joe that I don't buy internal polling, because that's a way of just trying to drive the votes out. But just a few minutes ago, I got a text from Michigan, and somebody saying they're seeing a lot of activity on the Trump side of the ledger. So I don't know.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay, so we're going to watch that really closely all night long. And Julie and Frank, keep in mind that Michigan has had severe economic trouble. They have a big portion of the middle class that feels that their jobs have been sent overseas, predominantly down to Mexico. So this is a place that Donald Trump feels that he can make a change. We'll see. He really needs it. Needs all of the swing states, and then to flip another state, his target is most likely Michigan.
All right.